My mom said I was overreacting about the past, so I played her old voicemails at her retirement party. The whole thing started when I was helping her plan the event. She wanted speeches, a slideshow, the works. Make it special, she said. I've worked so hard for this moment. I nodded and took notes while she listed everyone who should speak, colleagues, her boss, her tennis friends. Not once did she mention me. What about family? I asked carefully. Oh, you can introduce people, she said, waving her hand. Keep it short, though. This isn't about you. It never was. Growing up, my brother Ethan and I learned early that mom's career came first. She'd miss soccer games, school plays, parent-teacher conferences. I'm building our future, she'd say, kissing our foreheads before rushing out the door at 6 a.m. Dad did his best, but he traveled for work too. We raised ourselves mostly. The voicemails started when I was 12. Mom would call from business trips, her voice bright and cheerful. Hi, sweetie, just checking in. Love you. 30 seconds max. Then silence for days. I saved every single one. When I was 14, I fractured my ankle during volleyball practice. The school called Mom 11 times. She finally answered at 9 p.m. Can't your father handle it? I'm in the middle of a presentation. Dad was in Singapore. I took an Uber to urgent care alone. She left a voicemail that night. Sorry I couldn't be there, honey. You understand, right? This promotion is really important for our family. At 16, I had a panic attack during finals. The school counselor called Mom, explaining I needed support. Mom's voicemail that evening. I heard you had a rough day. We can talk this weekend, okay? Hang in there. We never talked that weekend. She flew to Denver for a conference. When I got into Northwestern, Mom cried. Real tears. I'm so proud of you, she said, hugging me tight. Then she missed my high school graduation because a client needed her in New York. Her voicemail. I'm devastated to miss this, but you know how important this account is. We'll celebrate when I'm back. We never did. College was lonely. I'd call home and get voicemail. I'd leave messages about my classes, my friends, my struggles. She'd text back, sounds great, honey. Swamped at work. Talk soon. By my senior year, I stopped calling. Now here we were, planning her big retirement party. The woman who'd missed every important moment of my life wanted a celebration of her sacrifices and achievements. I spent 3 weeks gathering those voicemails, 47 of them, spanning 13 years. I had them professionally compiled into a 7-minute audio montage. The party was perfect. Catered food, open bar, 100 guests. Mom glowed in her navy dress, accepting praise and well wishes. Her speech about work-life balance and having it all got a standing ovation. Then it was my turn to speak. I wanted to share something special, I said, holding the microphone. A collection of Mom's words over the years, the ones that shaped who I am. I hit play. Her voice filled the room. Sorry I couldn't be there. You understand, right? This promotion is really important. We'll celebrate when I'm back. Each excuse, each broken promise, each, I'll make it up to you, that never came. The room went silent. Mom's face drained of color. The montage ended with her most recent voicemail from last month. Can't make dinner tonight, something came up at the office. I'd been in the hospital for appendicitis. You said I was overreacting about the past, I said quietly. But the past is all we have, isn't it? Mom stood frozen. Guests shifted uncomfortably. Then my brother's voice came from the back of the room. There's more, Ethan said, walking toward the front with a laptop. Wait until you hear what we found in her emails. I hadn't known Ethan was bringing the emails. We'd planned the voicemails together, but this was new. My stomach dropped as he connected his laptop to the projector. Ethan, what are you doing? Mom asked, her voice cracking. Giving context, he said flatly. The first email appeared on the screen behind us, dated April 2009, from Mom to her assistant. Cancel my son's birthday party. Tell them I'll reschedule. The Tokyo deal is more important than a 10-year-old's feeling. Ethan clicked to the next one. If the school calls about my daughter's panic attack again, tell them I'm in a meeting. She's being dramatic for attention. Click. No, I won't be attending parent weekend at Northwestern. My daughter will understand. She always does. Click. Remind me to send flowers to both kids for Christmas. $200 budget max. Make the cards sound personal. Mom's assistant had done this for 7 years. Cards I'd treasured, thinking Mom had written them herself. The handwriting had always seemed slightly off. Stop this, Mom whispered. Please. Ethan ignored her. The emails kept coming, each one worse than the last. One from 2011. My daughter says she feels invisible. Recommend a therapist who can fix that quickly. I don't have time for weekly sessions. I remembered that therapist, Dr. Chen. I'd seen her for 6 months before she moved practices. Mom had seemed so concerned, asking if therapy was helping. I'd thought she cared. She just wanted the problem handled efficiently. Another email, this one to Dad. The kids are your responsibility this week. I have the Singapore conference. Don't call unless someone's dying. That was the week Ethan broke his wrist skateboarding. Dad was in Boston. Our neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, had driven us to the ER. Click. Tell my daughter I'll make her college graduation. Book the flights, but keep them refundable. The LA merger might conflict. She'd canceled those flights 3 days before graduation, blamed a client emergency. I'd walked across that stage scanning the crowd for her face, knowing she wouldn't be there but hoping anyway. The room had gone completely silent. Mom's colleagues stared at the screen, then at her, then back at the screen. Ethan pulled up one final email, dated 2 weeks ago. My children are planning something for my retirement party. They seem excited about it. Make sure they keep their speeches short. This day is about my achievements, not their childhood grievances. Childhood grievances, I repeated. That's what you called it. Mom's face was wet with tears. I didn't mean, yes, you did, Ethan said. He closed the laptop. You meant every word, every excuse, every broken promise. Someone coughed. Guests started gathering their things. The room began to empty. Mom's boss approached us. I think we should go, she said quietly to Mom. This seems like a family matter. Please, Mom said to her. You don't understand. I had to make sacrifices. We all make sacrifices for our careers. Her boss looked at the projection screen, still showing that last email. Then she looked at Ethan and me. Not those kinds of sacrifices, she said softly. She touched Mom's shoulder once, then left. Within 10 minutes, the venue was nearly empty. Just Mom, Dad, Ethan, and me, and the caterers, who were pointedly not making eye contact while they cleared tables. Dad hadn't said a word through any of this. He'd been traveling during most of our childhood too, but he'd never pretended otherwise. Never made promises he couldn't keep. Never acted like his absence was noble sacrifice. I should go help clean up, Dad said finally. He squeezed my shoulder as he passed. Proud of you both. Mom watched him walk away. Then she turned to us. How could you do this to me? Her voice shook. On my special day? Special day, Ethan repeated. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. You want to talk about special days? Let's talk about mine. I hadn't heard this story. Ethan had always been quieter about Mom's absences, more willing to forgive. Not anymore. My 8th grade science fair, he said. Remember that? I made a working model of a desalination plant. Spent 3 months on it. You promised you'd be there for the judging. Mom's face flickered. She remembered. You didn't show, Ethan continued. I won first place. The judge asked where my parents were. I lied and said you were sick. Better than admitting my own mother couldn't be bothered. I had a presentation. In Cincinnati. I know. I heard the voicemail. Ethan's voice was steady now, cold. But here's the part you don't know. Mr. Brennan, my science teacher, he stayed with me through the whole thing. Took pictures, drove me home, helped me carry my project inside. That was kind of him. He did it because I was crying in the parking lot at 9 p.m. waiting for someone to pick me up. You were supposed to be there at 6. Dad was in Frankfurt. You'd forgotten to arrange a ride home for me. I watched Mom's face. She didn't remember. Of course she didn't. Mr. Brennan stayed until 11 p.m. that night, Ethan said, sitting in our kitchen while I called you 17 times. You finally answered at midnight. You know what you said? Mom shook her head. Everything okay? I'm swamped, like I'd called to chat. Ethan's voice cracked. I was 13 years old, alone in an empty school, and you couldn't even remember you were supposed to pick me up. I'm sorry, Mom whispered. No, you're not. You're embarrassed. There's a difference. He was right. I could see it in her face. She wasn't sorry for hurting us. She was sorry we'd told everyone. I have more emails, Ethan said. 537 of them. I've been collecting them for 3 years. Ever since I got access to your old email account when you asked me to help transfer files. Mom went pale. There are emails about missing my basketball tournaments, my award ceremonies, His voice broke. My suicide attempt. The room seemed to stop. What? I said. Ethan looked at me. Sophomore year of college. You were abroad for that semester. I didn't want to ruin your trip. My heart stopped. I took pills, he said simply. My roommate found me, called 911. I was in the hospital for 3 days. Ethan, Mom knew, he continued. The hospital called her, required notification for insurance. She sent an email to her assistant. Handle the hospital bills for my son's incident. Don't let this interfere with the quarterly reviews. Mom made a sound like she'd been punched. She visited once, Ethan said. Stayed 20 minutes. Told me I was being selfish, that I had so much to live for. Then she went back to work. I couldn't breathe. She never asked why, Ethan said. Never asked what I was feeling. Never even asked if I was okay. Just handled it, like a business problem. You seemed fine, Mom said weakly. I learned from the best, Ethan shot back. I learned to pretend everything was okay, to not need things, to be convenient. He pulled up another email on his phone, showed it to Mom. This one's my favorite, he said. From you to Dad, 2 days after my attempt. Ethan's episode was a cry for attention. He'll be fine. Let's not coddle him, or he'll make a habit of it. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. A habit of it, Ethan repeated. Like suicide attempts are something you do for fun. I didn't understand. You didn't try to understand. That's the point. Ethan's face was wet now, too. I needed you. For once in my life, I really needed you. And you couldn't even be bothered to care. The caterers had stopped pretending to work. They stood frozen, listening. I'm not telling you this for an apology, Ethan said. I'm telling you so you understand what you did, what you've been doing, our entire lives. Mom reached for him. He stepped back. Don't touch me. Please let me explain. Explain what? That your career mattered more than your children? We already know. Ethan picked up his laptop. I'm going now. I have a therapy appointment at 4. My therapist says I need to set boundaries with toxic people. He walked toward the door, then stopped. One more thing, he said without turning around. I got engaged last month, to Violet. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd find a way to miss the wedding, or show up and make it about you. He looked back at her. You're not invited. Neither of you are. Just so we're clear. Then he was gone. Mom collapsed into a chair. She looked at me like I might defend her. Explain things. Make it better. I didn't. You knew he tried to kill himself? I asked. He didn't really answer the question. Yes, she whispered. I knew. And you never told me. You were in Paris, having the time of your life. I didn't want to ruin it. By telling me my brother almost died? Mom's face crumpled. I didn't know what to do. I thought if I handled it quietly, you wouldn't have to carry that burden. That wasn't your choice to make. I was protecting you. You were protecting yourself. From having to admit you'd failed. That your son was so miserable he wanted to die, and you'd been too busy to notice. That's not fair. Fair? I laughed. It came out harsh. You want to talk about fair? Let's talk about my appendicitis. Mom flinched. Ruptured appendix. Emergency surgery. I called you 12 times from the ambulance. You texted back 6 hours later asking if I could pick up your dry cleaning. I didn't see the calls. Yes, you did. I saw the read receipts. You read my texts and decided they could wait. Mom covered her face with her hands. I almost died, I said. Sepsis. They said if I'd waited another hour, I might not have made it. And you were in a budget meeting. I came as soon as I could. 18 hours later, I woke up from surgery alone, no family. The nurse held my hand because there was no one else. I pulled out my phone, showed her the pictures I'd taken. Me, pale and sick, alone in a hospital bed. IV lines, monitors, fear in my eyes. I sent these to you, I said. You never responded. Mom looked at the photos, really looked. I watched her face change as she saw what I'd lived through alone. I'm sorry, she said finally. I don't forgive you. She looked up sharply. That's what you want, right? Forgiveness? Some tearful reconciliation where we all hug and move forward? I shook my head. Not happening. Please. I know I made mistakes. Mistakes? My voice rose. Mistakes are forgetting to buy milk, missing one soccer game. These weren't mistakes. This was a choice. Every single day you chose work over us. I was providing for you. We didn't need more money. We needed a mother. The words hung between us. I loved you, Mom said. I still love you, both of you. Love is a verb, I said. It's something you do, not something you feel. And you never did it. I started gathering my things, my purse, my coat, the USB drive with all the voicemails I'd collected but hadn't played. There were hours more. Years of emptiness compressed into digital files. Where are you going? Mom asked. Anywhere you're not. Don't leave like this. Please. We need to talk. We just did. Your brother, he'll come around. He's just angry right now. He has every right to be angry. We both do. Mom stood. Her retirement party decorations sagged behind her, balloons losing air. A banner reading, "Congratulations on 35 years of excellence," hung crooked. I gave up everything for my career, she said. Everything. So you could have opportunities I never had. So you could go to good schools, live in a safe neighborhood, have everything you needed. We needed you. I was building a better life. You were running away. The words came out sharp. True. From us. From the messy, hard, unglamorous work of actually being a parent. Mom's face went white. You want to know what I think? I continued. I think you never wanted kids. Not really. We were the thing you were supposed to want. The next achievement to unlock. But when we turned out to be actual human beings with needs and feelings, you couldn't handle it. That's not true, isn't it? Look at your resume, your awards, your performance reviews, immaculate, perfect. Because work had clear metrics, clear goals. You could win at work. I gestured at the empty room. But parenting? Messy, complicated. No quarterly bonuses for not traumatizing your kids. So you did what you do with everything hard. You delegated it. I did my best. Your best was not good enough. Mom recoiled like I'd slapped her. I'm not saying that to be cruel, I said quietly. I'm saying it because it's true, and you need to hear it. Your best effort, with all your intelligence and resources and drive, was not enough to be the mother we needed. What do you want from me? Her voice broke. To say I'm a terrible person? Fine, I'm a terrible person. To beg for forgiveness? I'm begging. What do you want? I want you to actually understand what you did. Not just apologize because you got caught. Not just feel bad because people know now. I looked at her directly. I want you to understand that we were children, real children, not theoretical ones you'd deal with later. And we needed you, and you weren't there. Mom's face crumpled. Real tears now. Not the pretty, photogenic kind from her earlier speech. Ugly crying, snot and gasping breaths. I didn't know how to be both, she sobbed. A good mother and a good executive. Everyone said I could have it all, but I couldn't. Something always suffered. So you chose us to suffer. I thought, she gasped for air. I thought you'd understand when you were older, that you'd see I did it for you. We're older now, I said. We don't understand. We just hurt. Dad appeared in the doorway. Sweetheart, he said to Mom. Let's go home. She looked at him desperately. Tell them I tried. Dad's face was sad, resigned. You did try, in your own way. See? Mom turned back to me. But trying isn't the same as succeeding, Dad finished. And they're right, about all of it. Mom looked at him like he'd betrayed her. I'm not blameless either, Dad continued. I traveled too much, left too much to you, let things slide when I should have spoken up. He looked at me. I'm sorry too, for my part in this. I nodded. Dad's apology felt different, real. But you, Dad said to Mom, you made choices I didn't. You had opportunities to be present and you chose not to. Even when I begged you. Even when the kids begged you. You never said anything. I said plenty. You didn't listen. Dad's voice was firm. Remember when our daughter was 15? When her teacher called about the panic attacks? I asked you to take a week off, to be there for her. Mom went still. You told me I was being dramatic, that she just needed better coping mechanisms. That a week off would set your promotion back months. I'd forgotten that. Or maybe I'd never known. You got the promotion, Dad said. She spent her 16th birthday in a therapist's office having her first real conversation about her anxiety with a stranger instead of her mother. Mom was crying harder now. When our son was in the hospital, Dad continued, I flew back from London. 20-hour flights, layovers, everything. I got there 8 hours after the call. You were 45 minutes away and you showed up the next day. I had meetings. You always had meetings. You always had something more important. And the kids learned they weren't important. They learned to not need anything from you. Is that really what you wanted? Mom didn't answer. Come on, Dad said. Let's go home. This isn't the place. He helped her up. She looked at me one more time. Will I see you again? She asked. I don't know. Please, don't cut me out. I'm your mother. Biologically, I said. But that's not the same thing. Dad led her toward the door. She was still crying, still looking back at me like I might change my mind. I didn't. The caterers started cleaning as soon as they left. I stood there surrounded by the ruins of Mom's perfect party, feeling nothing and everything at once. My phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. You okay? I typed back. No. You? No. Want to get drunk? Yes. Violet's place. 6 p.m. Bring ice cream. I smiled despite everything. Of course Violet wanted ice cream. She was good for him. She'd been there through his recovery, his therapy, his slow climb back to trusting people. Unlike our mother, Violet showed up. I helped the caterers load their van. They didn't ask questions. Professional courtesy, or maybe just awkwardness. Either way, I appreciated the silence. By 7 p.m., and I was sitting on Violet's couch with Ethan, eating mint chocolate chips straight from the container while Violet made margaritas. So, Violet said, handing us drinks. That happened, I agreed. How do you feel? Like I should feel guilty, but I don't. Good, Violet said. She'd heard all the stories. Every missed event, every broken promise. She'd helped Ethan collect those emails, spending hours cross-referencing dates with his memories. She's going to call, Ethan said. Probably tonight, with some new excuse or explanation. Let it go to voicemail, I said. We both started laughing. Dark, bitter laughter. Voicemail, Ethan repeated. Perfect. My phone rang. Mom's name on the screen. I declined the call. It rang again. Declined. A text appeared. Please answer, we need to talk. I blocked the number. That was fast, Violet observed. I've had 27 years of her taking my calls. She can wait now. We drank our margaritas, ate our ice cream. Violet put on a mindless comedy special, and we half-watched it, processing what had happened. Around 10 p.m., my phone rang again. Dad's number. I answered. Hey, kiddo. Hey, Dad. You doing okay? Not really, but I will be. Good. He was quiet for a moment. Your mom's pretty devastated. I imagine so. She wants to talk, to explain, I don't know, fix this somehow. She can't fix this, Dad. Not with one conversation. Not with 100 conversations. I know. He sighed. I told her that. She's not hearing it yet. That's her problem, not mine. Fair enough. Another pause. For what it's worth, I think you and Ethan did the right thing today. It was harsh, but sometimes harsh is what's needed. Thanks, Dad. I'm sorry I didn't do more. To protect you both. To stand up to her. You did what you could. You were gone a lot, but when you were there, you were actually there. You showed up. That counted for something. I should have shown up more. Yeah, but you're showing up now. That counts too. We said goodnight. I felt lighter. Not good, but lighter. Violet had fallen asleep on the other couch. Ethan covered her with a blanket. She's a keeper, I said. I know. He smiled. She reminds me that not everyone is like Mom. That some people actually do what they say they'll do. When's the wedding? June. Small ceremony. Just people who actually care. I'm honored to be invited. You're my best woman, he said. Obviously. We sat in comfortable silence for a while. I didn't know, I said finally. About sophomore year, about the hospital. I know. Why didn't you tell me? Same reason you probably didn't tell me about a lot of things. Didn't want to burden you. Didn't want to make you choose between your life and my problems. That's fucked up, I said. We learned from fucked up people. We did. But we're better than them, Ethan said firmly. We're trying to be better. That counts for something. I leaned against his shoulder. I'm glad you're still here. Me too. He put his arm around me. Me too. My phone buzzed. An email from Mom. Subject line. Please read. I deleted it without opening. Ethan's phone buzzed. Same subject line. He deleted it too. She's relentless, he muttered. Always has been. Just usually about work, not us. Think she'll ever get it? Really get it? I don't know. Maybe. Probably not. What do we do if she does? I thought about it. I guess we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. But I'm not holding my breath. Me neither. We sat there until 2 a.m., talking about everything and nothing. Our childhoods. The things we remembered differently. The things we wished we could forget. At some point, Violet woke up and joined the conversation. She had her own stories about her parents. Different problems, but the same thread of children learning to survive adults who weren't equipped to raise them. Here's the thing, Violet said around 3 a.m., 3 margaritas deep. Our parents were human, flawed, fucked up, but we're adults now. We get to decide what we keep and what we let go. Very therapeutic, Ethan teased. Shut up, I'm profound when I'm drunk, she pointed at both of us. You two are breaking a cycle. That matters. Your kids won't have to do this. If we have kids, I said, when you have kids, because you'll be good at it. You know what not to do. She had a point. I went home around 4 a.m. My apartment was quiet, peaceful. I made tea and sat by the window, watching the city wake up. My phone had 23 missed calls from Mom, 47 texts, 8 emails. I deleted them all unread. I wasn't ready. Maybe I'd never be ready. That was okay. The sun came up. I took a shower, got dressed, went to work at the bookstore where I'd been working since college. Life continued. Mom's calls slowed over the next week, then stopped. The emails kept coming though, one every day. Same subject line. Please. I didn't read them. Ethan and I met for lunch that Saturday. Dad called, he said. Asked if we'd consider family therapy. With Mom? Yeah. Hard pass. Same. He ate a French fry. But he also said if we ever want to do therapy with just him, he's willing to work through his stuff, his absence, everything. That's actually pretty mature of him, right? I might take him up on it eventually. Me too. We finished eating, walked around the city. It felt normal, easy. We'd always been close, but there was something different now, lighter, like we'd set down bags we'd been carrying for years. You ever think about what she's doing right now? I asked. Probably working, Ethan said. It's what she does when she's stressed. She's retired. Consulting then. Volunteer boards. Something. Anything to avoid actually dealing with feelings. He was probably right. 2 weeks later, Dad called again. Your mom's in therapy, he said. Good for her. She wants you to know she's trying, working on understanding what happened, what she did. Okay. She asked if you'd be willing to read a letter she wrote, in therapy. Her therapist helped her. I don't know, Dad. No pressure. I told her I'd ask. That's all I'm doing. Asking. Can I think about it? Of course. I did think about it. For 3 days. Talked to Ethan about it. Talked to my own therapist about it. Finally, I told Dad I'd read one letter. One. It arrived via email the next day. The subject line was just my name. I almost deleted it. My cursor hovered over the button. Instead, I opened it. Dear sweetheart, I've been in therapy for 3 weeks now. Dr. Williams says I need to own what I did without excuses or explanations. That I need to acknowledge the harm I caused without making it about my pain. This is hard. I want to explain myself, to make you understand why I made the choices I made. But Dr. Williams says that's not the point. The point is that you were hurt. You and Ethan both. And I did that. I chose work over you. Repeatedly. Consistently. For your entire childhood. I told myself I was building a future for you. That I was providing opportunities. That quality time mattered more than quantity. But those were lies I told myself to feel better about my choices. The truth is, I was scared. Terrified, actually. Of being just a mother. Of my entire identity being wrapped up in 2 people who might grow up and leave. Of failing at something I couldn't control with spreadsheets and strategy meetings. Work was safe, clear metrics, measurable outcomes. I could win at work. Parenting terrified me because there was no winning. Just showing up and trying and probably failing anyway. So I didn't show up. I didn't try. And I definitely failed. I failed you when you broke your ankle. When you had panic attacks. When you graduated. When you were in the hospital. I failed Ethan when he won his science fair. When he needed me in the hospital. When he was drowning and I was too blind to see. I failed both of you every single day by choosing comfort over love. Predictability over presence. You said love is a verb. You're right. I told myself I loved you, but I didn't love you in any way that mattered. In any way you could feel. I don't know if I can change. I'm 63 years old and I've been this way for so long, but I'm trying. I'm in therapy twice a week. I'm reading books about emotional availability and attachment. I'm learning that being uncomfortable is okay. Necessary even. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Dr. Williams says I don't get to ask for that. You'll forgive me or you won't, but that's your choice, not mine. I'm just asking you to know that I see it now. I see what I did. I see what I took from you. I see the childhood you should have had and didn't. And I'm sorry. Truly, completely sorry. I understand if you never want to see me again. I understand if you block my number and delete my emails and pretend I don't exist. You'd be justified. But if you ever want to talk, really talk, not me explaining and excusing, I'm here. I'll always be here. Even if you never want to see me again, I'll be here, working on being the person I should have been. I love you. I know you don't believe that means anything coming from me. Maybe someday it will. Mom, I read it 3 times. It was something. Not enough, but something. I forwarded it to Ethan without comment. He called 5 minutes later. What do you think? He asked. I think it's a start. Just a start? Yeah, words are easy. She's good with words. Always has been. The question is whether she means them. Whether she'll actually do the work. True. You thinking about responding? Maybe. Not yet. You? Same. We hung up. I saved the email in a folder labeled Maybe Someday and closed my laptop. Life continued. I started dating someone. A regular at the bookstore named Alex who came in every Tuesday for the new releases. We went for coffee, then dinner, then more dinners. Alex had a good relationship with their parents. Talked to them weekly. Visited for holidays. It was foreign to me, but I liked it. They're not perfect, Alex said when I asked about it. But they try. They show up. They apologize when they mess up. Must be nice, I said. It is. Alex squeezed my hand. You deserve people who show up for you too. I was learning that. Slowly. Ethan's wedding was beautiful. Small ceremony in Violet's parents' backyard. 40 people. Everyone who mattered. Dad came alone. Mom had asked to attend. Ethan said no. How is she? I asked Dad during the reception. Still in therapy. Making progress, I think, but it's slow. Good things usually are. She asks about you both, what you're doing, how you're feeling. I tell her what I know. That's fair. She wants to see you, not to talk, just to see. Make sure you're okay. I thought about it. Not yet. Okay? He didn't push. Let me know if that changes. 3 months after the wedding, I got a package in the mail. From Mom. Inside was a box of letters. Handwritten. Dozens of them. A note on top. I've been writing to you. 1 letter per day. Everything I should have said when you were younger. Everything I want you to know now. You don't have to read them, but they're yours if you want them. I opened the first one. It was about the day I was born. How she'd felt holding me. How perfect I'd seemed. How terrified she'd been that she'd ruin me. I read 3 more. Then stopped. It was too much. I put the box in my closet. Maybe someday I'd read the rest. Or maybe I wouldn't. That was okay too. 6 months after the retirement party, Ethan called. Mom asked if we'd meet her. For coffee. With her therapist present. Both of us? Yeah. Dr. Williams suggested it. Said it might help. No pressure either way. What do you think? I think... He paused. I think I'm curious. Whether she's actually different or just better at performing change. Same. So we'll go? 1 meeting. With the therapist. Clear boundaries. Agreed. We met at a neutral coffee shop the following Tuesday. Dr. Williams was there when we arrived. Mid-50s. Kind eyes. Professional demeanor. Thank you for coming, she said. This is completely voluntary. You can leave at any time. The goal today is just to listen. No decisions, no commitments. Just listening. Mom arrived 5 minutes later. She looked different. Smaller somehow. Her hair was grayer. She wore jeans instead of her usual business attire. Hi, she said quietly. Hi, Ethan and I said together. We sat. Awkward silence. Dr. Williams spoke first. Why don't you start by sharing what you've been working on? Mom took a breath. I've been learning about emotional neglect. About how children internalize their parents' absence. About attachment styles and generational trauma. She looked at us. I've been learning that good intentions don't erase harm. That I can't retroactively fix the past with explanations. Another breath. I've also been learning that my childhood shaped how I parented. My mother was cold, distant, critical. I swore I'd be different. And I was different. But not better. Just different in my absence instead of hers. Ethan was listening intently. So was I. I don't expect you to forgive me, Mom continued. Dr. Williams says that's not the goal. The goal is for me to acknowledge what I did, understand why, and figure out who I want to be going forward. And who do you want to be? I asked. Someone who shows up, she said simply. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when I don't know what to say. Even when I might fail. That's a nice sentiment, Ethan said. But we've heard nice sentiments before. I know, Mom nodded. Which is why I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to let me prove it. Over time, through actions. How? I asked. However you need me to. If you want me to attend therapy sessions with you individually, I will. If you want me to leave you alone, I will. If you want weekly check-ins or yearly check-ins or no check-ins, I'll respect that. She pulled out a piece of paper. I wrote down some commitments. Things I'm doing regardless of whether we reconcile. Dr. A. Williams helped me. She slid it across the table. The list included, continue therapy twice weekly, read and respond to both children's needs, not my comfort. No more broken promises. Say no instead of yes, I can't keep. Learn to sit with discomfort instead of escaping to work. Acknowledge harm without centering my pain. Respect boundaries even when they hurt. This is for me, Mom said. To be better. Whether or not you ever speak to me again. I looked at Ethan. He looked at me. We need time, I said. Of course. And boundaries. Whatever you need. This doesn't fix anything, Ethan added. This is page 1 of a very long book. I understand. We finished our coffee in mostly silence. It wasn't comfortable, but it wasn't awful either. As we left, Mom caught my arm gently. Thank you, she said. For coming, for listening. I nodded. Didn't say you're welcome. Wasn't sure I meant it yet. Ethan and I debriefed in my car. Well, I said. She seemed genuine. But also, she's always been good at seeming genuine. That's what made the broken promises hurt more. True. So what do? I guess we wait and see if she actually does what she says. And if she does, then maybe eventually we let her back in. A little bit. With clear boundaries. And if she doesn't, then nothing changes. We already know how to live without her. It felt good to have a plan, even a tentative one. Over the next year, Mom kept her commitments. She went to therapy. She respected our boundaries when we said we weren't ready for phone calls. She sent a card for my birthday. Just, happy birthday, I love you, with no expectations of response. When Ethan mentioned casually that he had a doctor's appointment, she didn't ask for details or try to get involved. Just said, I hope it goes well. Small things, but consistent. I started reading more of her letters, 1 per month. They were raw, honest, sometimes painful to read. One was about the time I'd called her crying from college, overwhelmed and drowning. How she'd said, you've got this, and hung up to take a work call. How she'd felt proud of herself for being encouraging instead of coddling. How she understood now that I hadn't needed encouragement. I'd needed her. Slowly, carefully, we started talking. Once a month, coffee shops. Dr. Williams mediating at first, then just the 3 of us. The conversations were stilted, awkward, sometimes painful. But they happened. Mom started asking questions, real questions, about my life, my relationship with Alex, my dreams. She listened without fixing, without redirecting to herself. It was strange, unfamiliar, but it was something. When Alex and I got engaged, I told Ethan first, then Dad, then 2 weeks later, I told Mom. That's wonderful, she said. Her eyes were wet. I'm so happy for you. Thanks. She hesitated. I would love to be involved. In whatever capacity you're comfortable with, even if that's not at all. I thought about it. I'll think about it, I said. That's more than I deserve. Thank you. I did think about it. Talked to Alex, who said it was entirely my choice. Talked to Ethan, who said he'd support whatever I decided. Finally, I called Mom. You can come to the wedding, I said, but you're not in the wedding party. You're a guest. And if you make it about you, or say anything that hurts anyone, you'll be asked to leave. I understand. Thank you. I won't let you down. We'll see. The wedding was a year later. Small, like Ethan's. People who mattered. Mom came alone. Dad had started dating someone, a kind woman named Patricia, who made him laugh. Mom sat in the back. She cried during my vows, quietly. She didn't try to give a speech or insert herself into photos. She just attended. Afterwards, she approached me carefully. You look beautiful, she said. I'm so proud of the person you've become. Thanks. I know I didn't contribute much to that. You became this person despite me, not because of me, but I'm still proud. It was the most honest thing she'd ever said to me. I appreciate that, I said. We stood there awkwardly. I'm working on a project, she said finally, for both you and Ethan. I've been documenting everything I missed. Every game, every event, every moment. With notes about what I should have done, what I should have said. It's not to erase the past, just to acknowledge it, to see it clearly. Why? Because I need to face what I did, all of it, not just the highlights. And because someday, if you have children, I want you to know exactly what not to do. I didn't know what to say to that. Anyway, Mom continued, I won't keep you. This is your day. Enjoy it. She walked away before I could respond. Alex found me a few minutes later. You okay? They asked. Yeah, weirdly, yeah. She behaved. She did. Good. We danced, celebrated, lived our day. Mom left early, quietly. No drama. The next morning, I got a text from her. Thank you for letting me be there. It meant everything. I typed back, you're welcome. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it was acknowledgement. Recognition that she was trying. That counted for something. 5 years later, I was pregnant with my first child, a daughter. Ethan and Violet had 2 kids already. A boy and a girl. Mom had been slowly, carefully, allowed into their lives. Always with boundaries. Always earning trust inch by inch. She babysat sometimes. Under supervision at first, then gradually alone. She showed up for recitals and birthdays. She asked permission before buying gifts or making plans. She was learning to be a grandmother in ways she'd never learned to be a mother. It was strange to watch. When I told her I was pregnant, she cried. "Congratulations," she said. "You're going to be an amazing mother. Thanks. If you want any help or support, I'm here, but only if you want. I'll let you know." I did want her help, sometimes, in small doses. She came to one doctor's appointment, sat quietly, listened, didn't try to take over. When the baby came, she visited the hospital, held her granddaughter for 10 minutes, then left to give us space. She sent a gift basket. Nothing extravagant, just practical things we needed. And a note. "I got so much wrong with you. I hope I can do better with her." I hoped so too. My daughter is 3 now. Mom sees her once a month. They bake cookies together, read books, simple things. Mom asks for permission before planning activities, respects nap schedules, doesn't overstep. She's not the mother I needed growing up, but she's trying to be the grandmother my daughter deserves. That's something. Last month, I was going through old boxes and found the USB drive from Mom's retirement party. The voicemails I'd played, the ones I hadn't. I listened to them again. They hurt less now. Not because they weren't painful, but because I'd built a life where they couldn't define me anymore. I'd married someone who showed up, who meant their promises, who loved through actions, not just words. I had a brother who'd survived and thrived, who was raising his kids with presence and attention. I had a father who'd done the work to understand his role in our pain and was making amends. And I had a mother who was trying, finally, belatedly, imperfectly trying. It didn't erase the past, but it was something. I saved one of the recent voicemails Mom had left, a new one. "Hi, sweetheart. Just calling to see if you need anything. No pressure to call back. I know you're busy with the baby, but I'm here if you need me. Love you." Short, simple, with no expectations. She'd called back 30 minutes later with another message. "Sorry, me again. I forgot to say I'm proud of you, the mother you've become, the person you are. I should say that more, so I'm saying it now. Okay, that's all. Love you." I saved that one too, not to weaponize it later, not to prove anything, just to remember that people can change, slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely, and that even broken relationships can sometimes be rebuilt into something new, not what they were supposed to be, not what they should have been, but something. That was enough. For now, it was enough.